Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about what can you feel on your end during a healing session. So many people ask me, like, can they be sleeping? What if they're working? Because we have different time zones all around the world. And the answer is yes. You can receive what in any way that you want. There's no right or wrong way in how you receive. Some people like to be taking a walk. Some people want to be, sitting by the ocean. Some people are sleeping. However it is that they feel the most comfortable or in their own sacred space, then that'll work fine. And people say, well, what if I'm working and I can't be present during the exact time of the session? Well, that's okay too, because what happens is that energy will hold for you so that when you do go home and you're able to have the time to process and listen to it, then it'll activate at that time. Because the words that are given in these sessions that I record, they carry a frequency and vibration, and that frequency and vibration will stay, it will never leave. So many times people will listen to the recording over and over and over as if they're having their session the first time. So what I'm going to do is share some things of how people reacted or felt on their end during a healing session. So a healing session will take place when I am in my healing room, and you will be doing something, laying in your sacred space, working, sleeping, like I said in the beginning. But these people all had their own experience of what they felt during the session as it was taking place. So what they were feeling on their end while I was actually doing the healing session. So I am recording this session, but they're not present. It's not like on FaceTime or that you're watching this live. You are in your sacred space receiving. What are you receiving? You're receiving the energy. What will you feel? Some people will feel nothing at all. And some people will feel energy, like they might want to cry. They might feel the energy moving in their body. They might see light. They might feel love. They might cry. But like I said, they might feel nothing at all. There's no right or wrong way to receive, but each person receives differently. And so this is why I'm so excited to share different ways of how people feel. So this one person says, the day of the healing, wow, my neck is so much better. My ears, my heart, amazing. But I crashed so hard, the energy was intense. It still is, and will take some time to acclimate. I felt heat in my buttocks on the right side of my shoulder blades, but I wrote it all down. So it's interesting. She's saying, this energy was so intense that it took her down. It made her crash. And that can happen. It becomes so undeniable that you have to sleep or you have to rest. And that's the reason that happens is, one, to show you this is real, but also to get you to rest so that your healing can continue to work within you. And so then she wrote me again the next morning. Wow, the healing is happening and continuing. Isn't that amazing? She's still feeling the energy and seeing how her healing is taking a process. So some healings might happen instantaneously. Boom, I feel better. I don't have any symptoms. And others can be a process where it takes some time, and you have to stand in your faith and believe and feel and know that this is just going to take time. So what she said is, the healing is happening and continues. My neck and ears are happy. I hold stress in my shoulders, neck, and jaw. But I woke up at 3 a.m. with so much energy. I was singing, literally singing Jesus songs, church songs to Jesus. Right before I kicked something or someone so hard in my dream, the covers went flying. I'm having vivid dreams now. Amazing, an amazing sleep. Oh, and my throat. It's been the best it ever has in a long time. Thank you, Debra. So see how she was seeing things and now her dreams were becoming more vivid. She was cleansed. It's like having a heavy blanket on you where you're not able to lift it. And those things were lifted, and now things became effortlessly to her, and she was having vivid dreams, and she was seeing, feeling, and just feeling wonderful again. And the actual ringing of her ears, she was feeling that attunement that was given to her, fine-tuning her to her higher frequency so that she could see and hear and feel the change of that frequency change in her by the ringing of her ears. This one says during her session, wow, she listened to and says it's beautiful and amazing to me. As my session began, I laid down on the couch to receive the healing, and I instantly fell asleep on my side. But before I did, I focused on listening, and I could distinctly hear a bell ringing several times in my left ear. Sometimes I will hear ringing in either ear, but this was different. I could hear the ringing coming from outside of my ear, just to the left. I soon fell asleep while the healing was taking place. What's interesting, I can remember in this session hearing those bells and describing those bells and saying, I'm hearing the bells as if they're rejoicing for you, the angels. And so the fact that she was hearing them at the same time I was hearing them is just so beautiful and amazing. So she slept for 45 minutes in a very deep sleep. When she woke up, her neck had been hurting really bad the last couple of days. So the fact that you mentioned this several times was true. I feel it is stress of the unknown, like you talked about, that is causing this buildup of pressure along the base of my neck. Now, I don't know anything about her. She didn't share anything that she was dealing with until, after the session. But I mentioned all of this to her in the session because God knows exactly what's going on with her and why it is happening. So he explained, this is all coming from your stress. So after the healing places, all the healing places, sorry, I'm reading it wrong. All the healing places you mentioned are places that I have been feeling pain or discomfort. And I even mentioned to my husband that the spot on my right rib hurt in a different way after the session today. I also noticed yesterday that my ankles are swollen. So I was so amazed that you felt and mentioned the swelling. But since then, I can't even see it or feel it. So here she was dealing with something that was out of the normal for her, and I even picked up on that. So in a healing session, we're going to go through your entire body from the smallest things to the greatest things emotionally, physically, and spiritually. It's just fascinating. So she continues, I'm so grateful that you were able to feel all that and relay these messages back to me just as a confirmation of my healing. And some of the words that you used were exact words spoken to me today, or that I even thought by me before the healing session occurred. Wow, right? You also described to me how I've been feeling for the past year. I'm feeling like I'm reaching out for help and asking, but not knowing how or when I will be healed. You were spot on with exactly how I was feeling. I'm actually feeling very sore today, especially in the base of my neck, and very tired. Once again, that shows you that she can't deny what transpired. During a healing session, if a spiritual surgeon is going to work on a client, they're going to administer medicine. I will usually feel it going into my right arm. And I will taste the medicine, I'll describe the medicine, but it sedates you, it relaxes you so that they can continue to work through you. It's really miraculous what all transpires in a healing, but the fact that she felt tired from it shows that she felt the effects of this sedation medicine, God's medicine. But she continues and just says she's grateful for the work and that she will continue to see the healing continue in her body. That was so beautiful. Another one thanked me in this way. He thanked me for helping me get the healing, but also connecting to God. So my session started at 11 o'clock with him, and he said around 10:30, he tried to relax in his chair, and he thanked God for his connection and that he was all part of it. He asked God for his love and light to shine into him and his heart. Around 11 a.m., he felt dizziness and lightheaded, like some sort of energy came through his head. Next thing, he felt there was vibrations pulsating going through my heart from the right side to the left. He felt dizziness, lightheaded, and a brightness coming into my head a few times during the session. What's interesting, in his session, I can remember that beam of light going through the top of his head, just beaming through every cell and inch of his body, touching his cells, organs, vessels. The energy was going through, and I could feel it as it went all the way through. My toes would twitch so that I would know, wow, it went completely through him. But I can remember really working on the heart and the pain that he had in the heart, the grief from the loss of a loved one, his wife coming through, but that he had a heart issue. And so I remember the spiritual surgeons going to these areas that he described in his heart, not knowing if he had a heart issue or not, but trusting that this is where I was feeling, and I was voicing and speaking, what I'm seeing, feeling, and hearing in this area. So the fact that he felt that on his end, what I was feeling was spot on. But what was even more miraculous to me is like I said, I knew nothing, but he writes, and I have problems with my heart. Wow. I just was like, I taken back by that, because I feel the areas of the body, and I have to sometimes voice things that might seem really far-fetched. One time I had to say, I saw somebody wearing a bag for his kidney, and it was hanging off the right side. And I'm like, okay, that's what I'm seeing, that's what I'm feeling, that's where we're healing. And then I send the MP4 recording across the world for this person to hear, and they're like, you were spot on. How would you know that I am wearing a kidney bag on my right side? So the fact that I knew nothing, and we went to the heart, God went to the heart, the spiritual surgeons went to the heart, and he felt the same vibrations, the same pulsating going from right to left, the same dizziness and lightheadedness, and the same seeing the bright light going through the crown of his head. We were so in sync. And that's the beautiful thing of this, is I'm your proxy as these healings. I become you. I feel everything emotionally, physically, and spiritually, going from the past, the present, and moving into what we want to heal, the here and now. But so this healing, he will continue to keep me in the loop. I haven't heard from him on how his heart is doing. And I don't like to reach out to my clients and say, well, how are you doing? Because that gives false hope. I trust that they're doing fine. So I love hearing. A lot of times I don't even hear from them. They don't even give me the validations. And they're like, well, we just thought you were too busy and you didn't want to know that I was completely healed. I'm like, what? I do want to know. I want to hear all these miracles that God is performing, because they really are truly happening. And so his will continue to heal, but the fact that we went right to the spot that he needed it, and he couldn't deny what took place, it's just such a blessing, is what I can say. So here's another one. And here's what she said she experienced during her healing. My healing began with intense heat in my head. I felt tingling. I felt lots of pressure and heat, with most of the intense heat in my head. It was reassuring and powerful. I definitely felt it in my crown chakra repeatedly. In my mind's eye, I saw a gorgeous color of cobalt blue. I thought it was moving like a wave in my head. I heard God our Father's voice in my head. Wow. So she was receiving the message from God. She was now open up to receiving and hearing. And he said to her, this is what she heard, "My beloved daughter, you have endured so much." And I remember talking about that, of everything that she endured and what she went through. But the fact she heard the voice herself, and then I was able to validate those words through the session. And I can remember seeing, I never saw the color blue. I will see colors, but I don't remember seeing this color. Oh, it's interesting. Spirits coming through me right now and saying, yes, you did, Debra. You just forgot. Yes, you did. You saw the same color. Okay, so I trust in what God's saying. But the wave, she describes like a wave moving in through her body or through her head. That what's interesting is that that's how I see energy. It's like a wave. When I walk into my healing room early in the morning, I will set this music on that raises the energy in the room, so that when I walk into it again, it feels like I'm walking into a sauna. It's very thick. I can feel it becomes palpable. But sometimes I can see it with my naked eye, and it ripples not in front of me, but it ripples like from left to right or right to left. And it's like a wave. It's the energy. And I can actually see it with my eyes open, but I can see it with my eyes closed as well. Now on the body, I will see the rippling going from, from your head down through your toes and back and forth. So I can see that. There's times in the stomach, it will go left to right, but I'll feel the energy. When I see it, it goes like the wave that she describes. Then she goes on to say, later in the healing, I know I was engulfed in a hug. I felt the strong vibration. I felt my left shoulder being touched, and I know it was a loving hug from God our Father. It felt like an angel's wing. I think that the touch was telling me it was coming. I felt my body tingling in many areas, and it definitely was God hugging me. I know in the recording you said that you saw God our Father standing near my left shoulder and touching it. This is when it happened. I wrote it in my journal before I heard your transcription. Simultaneously at that moment, my right shoulder was tingling, surrounding too, like someone was hugging me, that everything was going to be all right. It was a huge hug from God our Father. Thank you, God. I remember feeling that. I remember that touch. I remember where God was standing. And for her to feel it and see it, and then I voiced it, and it comes together as we were doing the same and feeling God's presence with both of us at that very same time. It's priceless. That you can't even explain this life-changing moment that happened at that time. So then she keeps going. I kept feeling the intense heat in my head throughout the session. Then after the heat, beautiful healing waves of energy came every few minutes, and then they stayed with me. She saw the cobalt blue again. She saw the white lights and sometimes orange tones of lights. When it was most intense, I recalled telling God our Father of my profound thanks. And I thanked Debra too. I asked God then, what can I do for you? And he said to me, I'm very proud of you. Keep on being you. Just be you. Tears were streaming down my face. At that time, I felt a loving push on my forehead. I know now, after listening to what you felt and what you said on what happened to you on your forehead, that it was God, our Father, that was kissing me on the forehead. As I felt it, saw it, and expressed it and voiced it to her, she was feeling that too. but that she had a knowingness that it was God that was doing this, and that she felt it with her entire being, her soul. She trusted it. She knew it. She didn't question it. It's a knowing that when these things happen to you, that you just can't deny it. It's like when these healings happen to me in my sessions, I can't deny what's taking place because it's just all coming through to me so fast. Everything's happening on so many different levels. You know, I'm seeing what's taking place. I'm seeing spiritual surgeons. I'm seeing loved ones. I'm feeling pain. I'm seeing God. I'm feeling the light. I'm seeing the energy. I'm feeling the different parts on the body. And sometimes I'm even taking them to a different space to have a connection with God in another dimension. But she ends it that this healing was one of the most intense and spiritual experiences of her entire life. So these are life-changing healing sessions, everyone. I decided to voice these healings, to be the voice of healing, because this is the voice of God showing what he can do for each and every one of us, and that they're real and they're happening here today, and they're life changing. I couldn't make this up if I tried. The things that come through, I have to share, because I thought, I'm hearing all these, I'm receiving all these messages and these emails, and I'm not letting others know what's out here, what is happening, and what is available to you. I also want to share something. Children are so, what do you want to say, open, right? Some of our kids can see spirit, and people will ask me, well, should we ask them questions? What should we do? And I say, no, just allow them to speak their truth to you. But as long as you're open to them, it gives them permission to feel comfortable to say these things that are happening to them. I can remember when I was 4 or 5 years old and I would see spirit, and it wasn't something that was talked about. And so I wasn't too sure what I was seeing, if this was normal. And so I stuffed it deep down. I didn't have anyone to share it with. So if your child is, seeing spirit or voicing to you that an angel came into their room, just embrace it, because they're just pure, loving beams of light. And they're there for your children, but the fact that your children are so open, allow them to share these miraculous things that are happening to them. I wrote a book called Me and My Angels. It's a children's book, and it talks to the children to let them know that they're never alone. And in the book, there are illustrations of myself and my daughter. I don't know if you can see these. But it shows the children that they're never alone, and how the angels can come to them. So you can see this one. She's just the angels in her room. When they're scared, or, just even when they're playing outside. Can you see? I don't know if you can see. Sometimes these pictures you can't see. I'll stop showing. But anyway, there it goes. The angels are beautiful in this, but it shows them when they're feeling sad, when they're scared, when they're just playing, that they can call upon their angels, and that they're never alone and they're always with them. And it kind of validates to them. I've had children actually that lost a sibling or a mom or a dad or a grandmother or grandfather, that they call that their grandmother, father, sister, whoever's on the other side, their angel. And they love this book. Some of them I've heard sleep with it, going, oh, that's my mom that I'm sleeping with, that's my brother. And it gives them peace. So I share this with you because I don't really talk too much about this book, but it's available. It's available on Amazon. So anyway, I want to thank you for listening to these healing sessions, and open yourself up to receiving healing. Ask God, if you're feeling pain in certain areas, ask God to send his light and love through you to heal you. Voice it. Sometimes we can use our own abilities to heal ourselves by just asking for that light and love to go through us, because energy is love. It fills us. Other times, we need the assistance from somebody else to help us, like whether it's doctors um, or healers. And I just say use every tool you have in your toolbox to um, receive the healing that you need. But to get in contact with me, if you want to have a private session or you want to be in my group session, you can go to my website at www.goldenmiracles.com. And on my website, you can access my Facebook page. Please be my friend on Facebook. I'd love to meet you. And you can learn about my other testimonials as I post them on my Facebook page. Also, on my website, you can join my newsletter if you want to learn about upcoming events. Or if you want to listen to my free podcast called Spirit Chat, which are uplifting conversations where spirit comes in and chats right through me as a medium. And they're fun. They're a lot of fun. And I welcome you to join in and listen to them. They're totally free and you can listen to them whenever is most convenient for you. But I want to thank you again for tuning in to the Voice of Healing. And I thank God every day for using me as his instrument and vessel. But I thank you for trusting in me and to listening to these stories. And please send anyone that you know that is in need of a healing. I also have on my Facebook page a link to a Facebook prayer page. So if you know of anybody that needs a healing, you can post it there and I will pray for them in my daily prayers. So with that, I want to give gratitude to you. Thank you for tuning in. And gratitude to God for using me as an instrument and vessel. And until we speak again, God bless. Have a joyful, joyful day.